Imagine yourself at a football game, watching grown men cheer on the football team. According to Rachel, who writes for the Cheer Omni blog and has been in the cheer industry for over 8 years, this was the reality when cheer first came to be. This is probably difficult to visualize because at any football game that you would attend in today's day and age, you would predominantly see female cheerleaders. Hello, I am McKenna Brown, and I am a credible source for the history of cheer because I've done extensive research and have been a cheerleader for over 10 years. The first time I was ever introduced to cheerleading was when I first stepped into a competitive cheer gym at just 4 years old. Since then, I have learned that cheer is a lot more than just shaking pom-poms around. Throughout the years, I have participated in 2 different types of cheer. I've endured a lot of its changes and history. Today, I want to present to you the orientation, the founder, and the involvement of cheer. First, I will explain how cheer was created. After that, I will introduce to you the person that created cheer. And lastly, I will show you how cheer has evolved over the course of its history. First, I'd like to tell you how long ago cheer began. According to Laura Ann Grandstaff, who is a professor at the University of California, cheer dates all the way back to the 1860s. It originated from Great Britain, and it did not enter the U.S. until the 1880s. In 1884, at Princeton University, the crowd got the idea that chanting would gain spirit at football games. Since then, cheer is primarily common in the U.S., but it's also very common in places such as Europe, Central America, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and Asia. Cheer started more than just 100 years ago. Until this day, people still cheer at football games and other sporting events to gain spirit. Now, I would like to talk to you about who started cheerleading. According to Valerie Nimoy, who is a former cheerleader as well as the editor and advisor of Cheer Coach magazine, cheerleading was first created by a man. A Princeton graduate named Thomas Pebbles moved to Minnesota and started to transplant the idea of a crowd cheering at a football game. It was not until later that a student at the University of Minnesota, Johnny Campbell, started an actual cheer among the crowd. Johnny Campbell became an official first cheerleader, and soon after that, a squad of 6 male cheerleaders formed. Since then, cheer has become much more complex. However, the cheerleaders of Minnesota, till this day, still use Johnny Campbell's first original cheer. I guess you could really say they really appreciate their history. Finally, I would like to explain how cheerleading has evolved over its time. As I stated earlier, cheerleading was started by a man, but now it has become a predominantly female activity. According to Michelle Smith, who covers both pro and college sports, cheer was nothing more than catty girls subjecting themselves to root for the boys while being covered in glitter. Over the years, as the cheer industry has grown, Smith has come to a different conclusion, that this is only a version of cheerleading. Yes, there is a version of cheerleading where women stand on the sidelines parading around in miniskirts. But there is also a version that is really competitive. From my own experience, I have endured 2 different types of cheer. One where I was standing on the sidelines, and the other, as Smith explained, was athletic, competitive, and physically demanding. Cheer has become much more than just chanting from the sidelines. This type of cheer is known as competitive cheerleading. And although it has taken some time to be thought as such, it became an official sport in 1999. In conclusion, cheerleading has transformed over the course of its history and has become one of the most popular and competitive sports. Thanks to a former cheerleader of Southern Methodist University, Lawrence Herkimer, the cheer industry has grown tremendously. Sam Roberts, an obstetrics reporter for the New York Times, stated that Herkimer is what we could consider the grandfather of modern-day cheer industry. In 1994, he made his very own cheer association known as NCA. He held the very first cheer clinics, organized camps, and made the very first cheer uniforms. Cheerleading would not be taken so seriously today without his help. According to Valerie Nimoy, the journalist, 3 of America's past presidents, George Bush, Dwight Eisenhower, and Franklin Roosevelt, were all cheerleaders back in their day. Males like them may have started cheer history, but as of now, 97% of all cheerleaders are female. Cheer has become not only very competitive, but also a very dangerous sport. And like any other program, it needed organizations that set safety regulations and provided training so athletes did not get hurt. 2 organizations known as the American Association of Cheerleading, Coaches and Advisors, and the National Council for Spirit Safety and Education are groups that are very important to modern cheer because they ensure the sport is safe enough for the athletes that participate. Again, the orientation and founder and involvement of cheer is cheerleading's history. Now that I have told you about the history of cheerleading, you can understand how much it has changed since it was created. In the modern world, you will see both men and women cheering on the sidelines of games. You would also be able to attend cheer competitions where you would see cheer teams compete against one another. Thanks to Johnny Campbell, we have cheer, a place where it all started. And since then, his idea of cheerleading has transformed. Cheerleading continues to evolve, and like any other sport, it will become even more popular, demanding, and competitive. Throughout the history of cheer, a lot has changed. But one thing that has not is that cheer continues to bring people together. In the beginning, I had you imagine yourself at a football game. Lastly, I would like to imagine yourself at a cheer competition. All you are focused on is the athleticism and talent of these female cheerleaders that now rule this previously dominated male sport. They are much more than just sideline attraction. They are now the main event.